I don't have my regular camera. I don't have my headphones. I don't have all my shit.
Oh, flying
So
blind.
pretty much. Hmm.
Yeah, well, that's a theme for everyone. Flying blind.
So, what are you going to talk about for the people, Gareth?
Well, we were
Inquiring
just
minds
chatting.
want to know.
Yeah, I mean, we've got what, 22, 15 minutes. So this is just a real brief one. But we were just chatting over the last few days while you're driving across the entire country on your way to a very uh, big moment.
Oh my God, yeah. Family System Constellation with Doc Massey and the International Association of Near-Death Studies Conference. Oh yeah,
That's
big.
it.
Yeah, I left Buffalo on Thursday. I am currently in Park City, Utah.
Hmm. In a snow country hotel.
Yeah, that's why it was cheap.
Way to go. Way to go.
It's not ski season.
Ski
So
season.
we had been talking a couple of days ago, and you gave me this earthquake analogy, and in regards to, I don't know, trauma and this
Hmm.
transition, and I was like, how come in 4 years I haven't fucking heard that analogy before? That's brilliant.
Yeah, I don't know. It just came. But I think there's been a bit of talk about earthquakes, and I do know a bit about the destruction event, how civilization was sort of destroyed about 12,000, 13,000 years ago. The Atlantis. There was a series of civilizations that led up to that, but it got distorted around the ego that controls to the point where it was completely destroyed. Civilization collapsed around the world. And what did that? The mechanism behind it was a lot of geological stuff. It came from the sun, plasma waves. It came from the planet as well. So Tom is God, by the way. I had a conversation with um, God in '97. Just for anyone, we can go into a bit of a you know revisit of the background of all of this because a few people have said, what are you talking about with Tom? Like, because we tend to get.
And just so everyone knows, there is a video of Gareth being interviewed that's in my playlist on my channel that's public. And it's with Kathleen Bierkens of Wellness Revolution. And she's a friend of mine who lives in Amsterdam. And it's not very long, it's an hour, and it gives Gareth's whole background in just a really tight, good description. So it gives you all the background, and that's in the playlist. And I'll try and leave a specific link to that in show notes. I'm getting better at that stuff. So anyway,
Yes, we
let's
will get
hear.
better at all of that, guys. We'll get better at centralizing things a bit and website and all that. Um, yeah, but anyway, that time God said about that time, there was a lot of fear at that time because you can imagine um, what a massive monumental process that would have been: volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, tidal waves, plasma waves that melted stone. There are all sorts of megalithic structures around the world where the stone staircases, where the stone at some point was liquid and flowed down around the staircase. And statues where one side on two statues sitting side by side, and both sides of the face and body are melted. Um, Very, very intense, like massive. Places like Göbekli Tepe were deliberately buried to protect them from this process
And to
because
what?
they
Preserve
to preserve
history?
it. Yeah, there's a very, very important history behind that area, and it goes way, 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 way back before Atlantis. Like, right, you're talking about the beginning process of the seeding of the planet and the human race being put together. So there's a thread with that area, and it was very important it's preserved. So it carries a lot. And it's all frequency based as well. It's tapped into the network of structures around the world that are connected to the planet's core frequency. Because when these civilizations were set up, they all ran off direct energy. And there are all sorts of technological spin-offs that you can get access to when you understand that and its connection to the planet's surface, the core frequency of the planet. The human body is the same frequency, like I've said. So there's a lot that went on, but basically civilization collapsed. Um, and if you talk to earthquake survivors, that there's a type of trauma which is quite unique because their entire sense of reality collapsed. It wasn't just like, I mean, you could say any trauma does that. You know, you're living in a sense of reality and then an event happens that
But this is a
completely,
very physical thing where the ground under them literally shifted and things
that's
like,
right. You know, like you're driving down a road and suddenly the road splits into 10 pieces and each piece is rising 15, 20 feet in the air like its surface. It becomes an ocean. So the ground becomes liquid in a way. You know, liquefaction is one of the phenomena of earthquakes where the ground literally, the bonding of the particles within the ground stop. So this can happen to basically ground, like a whole side of a hill will just slip and turn fluid. And this is basically also the technology that was used to build a lot of the megalithic structures, but works on the same process. You can remove the mass of a stone when you understand how this stuff works. But basically, the transition, the fundamental process, the transition, the human race, what Tom called the transition, we're going from a false sense of reality based around the ego that controls, which is a reaction to a traumatic event that we've all gone through at some point in childhood. Our whole persona is based around a reaction. It's not who we think we are. It's a reaction to being overwhelmed. We had to manage that, and we had to become someone in from that and to the world out there, etc. So our whole civilization is out of balance because that's what it's based on. So that's what the transition is flipping around. And the way God put it, we are reversing the inversion with you. So with our help, but with us, our sense of self. So that's a paradigm shift. But it's the scale of this paradigm shift has not just never happened in the history of the human race. This paradigm shift, the way it's playing out, has never happened in the history of the universe. Massive.
so
So
that's why you're relating it to the earthquake trauma. Everything we thought we
yeah,
were is being upended. We're going to see the inversion in everything. It's like the opposite of the
yes.
absolute reality that we're going
That's
toward.
right. That's
Okay.
right. Because, you know, you think, I mean, it's as an analogy, the ground is solid, the ocean is liquid, and then the earthquake situation completely changes that.
Right.
It's not, you can't count on it. It
Right.
was an assumption that everything will stay the same.
Mhm.
That is so buried so deep down that when the very ground you stand on suddenly completely changes in front of you, then that does something to your whole sense of reality. It's a very unique kind of trauma that people go through from that because it's an existential crisis. If reality around you can't count on it being stable,
Right.
then
And those of us who welcomed it early, like as you said, God said someone had to go first.
yeah,
Those of us who welcomed it early will be there to be the ground under them while the ground falls out from under them.
from under them. That's right. That's right. Because you know you think of an inversion. Because the reason the trauma hits people from earthquakes so much, it's not just about the paradigm shift, the complete. It's an experience that is like the scale of it, basically, the scale of it, reality, everything around you suddenly changes. But the reason it hits them so hard is also because of the trauma of the ego that controls within them. So it challenges everything they
Everything.
are. It's an existential
Everything.
crisis that comes to them from the outside in, but they can't stay the same in relationship to it. And it brings them to that point of the problem is with trauma counselling, it's changing now. It's starting to change now. The elements needed to help people with the transition have been coming in gradually over the last few decades, but people are starting to put things together in a way that which the Arcturians helped us put the four pillars of the transition together in. The relationship between self-inquiry, challenging the beliefs you have about everything, family system, giving back what's not yours and staying with what's yours, leaving other people to their business and
Mhm.
staying with what's in your field, which is your own relationship to the transition. And then the polarity, the relationship of separation, those elements all have to be included. Are you separate or not? There are fundamentals involved in all of that. Well, that's starting to catch up. But in trauma counselling, a lot of that wasn't really fully understood. So those earthquake survivors, as hard as it was, they were also in the exact position you need to be to go through the transition. They just weren't held in that way at the time, in the
Sure.
way that's coming in,
Yeah.
because the whole human race is going to go through that exact process. Think of it this way. We are reversing the inversion with you. If you think we think the sky is there and the ground is here. So we think that's up and that's down. In reality, it's the other way around. So your whole world needs to be turned upside down for you to actually be able to stand on the ground of reality.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's playing out.
Bring it on, man.
And it's just going to get more physical, more, the
And
earthquake of the pharmaceutical industry being exposed, the earthquake of the corporate structure being exposed, the earthquake of the central banking
education
system,
system,
blah, blah,
banking
blah, all
system,
of it.
you name it. All of the inversion of those systems is coming up and out to be seen. And that is glorious. And those of us, and it is already presenting to the, while it's the great coming together, the great falling apart and the great coming together, those of us who have been consciously doing the work all this time are seeing these things develop in the physical for us. Like we're seeing the numbers like crazy. I just have to tell you right now, it didn't dawn on me when I parked. My parking space in this garage is 133. You
See,
can't make this shit up.
that's right. Yeah, that's right. And that's
I
the
knew
Nazarene.
you would. That's the Nazarene. I knew you would love that. But those things, like I was talking to my girlfriend Rochelle today. I was talking to Melanie today. I was talking to Sam today. I was talking to all these people today, and the numbers are flying at us. The signs are coming out of nowhere. And while everyone's normie land, I hate saying that. It's so dismissive and kind of disrespectful, but like those in normie see everything as like catastrophic and falling apart. And those of us doing it are like, yeah, it's falling apart. This is
Yeah.
great.
Yes.
Give me
Yeah.
popcorn. Enjoy the show, Mark Atwood says,
That's
right?
right.
I mean, Q
Yeah.
says that. Enjoy the
Yeah.
show. It
Enjoy the
had to be
show.
this way.
Mm.
The best is yet to come. Where we go
You're
one, we
watching a
go
movie.
all. You're
Yeah.
watching a movie. Get your
We saved the
popcorn.
mainstream media till last. We saved Israel till last. We saved the mainstream media till. Why did they connect those two things together, do you think? The control over the narrative and the
The
core central
funding.
group behind all of this for the
Behind
last
all of it.
12,000
Right. And
years.
it's not the Israel we love. It's
It's,
not the
it's not the
Israel of the
Hebrew.
Bible. It's not the Hebrew. It's not, there's no hate here. We're not
No,
talking that. We're talking about the false. Alec
yes.
Zeck and Paul Stobbs talk about that on their, I know you got to go, talk about that on that podcast from 7 months ago. Paul Stobbs, The Way Forward, Alec Zeck, so good. Oh, I'll
Great.
remember to put those two links in it, Kathleen's and Paul Stobbs. I'll do that. I
Great.
know you got to
All right.
run. This is
I've got to run
very
this.
good though. This is
Yeah.
very good though. Okay.
So, but anyone just comment, questions, whatever triggers in
Anything.
you, and we'll kind of pick it up and move
Okay.
forward. But the whole structure of reality is going to break down and come back together. And it's the conduit for that to happen is our awareness. And the reason why it can be done from the top end of town, that element's always been there. What hasn't been here is people on the ground to
Ground
receive the
up.
reality of that awareness
Yep.
because they spin it. Remember, we think up is down and down is up. It's the
Yep.
other way around. So for them, the white hat group to tell us this is the situation, we need to be in a position where we can actually hear it. Now, that's never happened before. We've always been mob ruled by this control over the narrative, the mainstream media, religion. So that's breaking apart. COVID's destroying people's willingness to believe everything they hear. Yeah,
is
that's breaking down to a
that's
point
breaking
where
down. Yep.
it's right. And they're having to manage the reality of that in the mainstream media, but they can't stop the reality of it growing by doing that. And that's never happened before. So
Excellent.
this connection, this pincer move that the Arcturians show me, the group in the middle, trap in the middle are those of the interference, the admin, the power behind the throne,
Yep.
people that have always been there in the background manipulating everything, they're caught in the middle.
Yep. Yep.
We're
Yep.
waking up and we can receive the full awareness
And we're waking up faster than anybody anticipated, and we're being held and assisted every step of the way.
every step of the way.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
right.
All right.
So
Thank you.
hope that triggers something, helps something, but we'll keep going with that. The ground,
Yeah.
it's all in some of the ancient Vedas and the Torah and the text that came out of what was they tried to preserve a lot of the information. Göbekli Tepe was buried, a lot of stuff happened. Also, they preserved the knowledge in a coded form. Those of the interference took religion and tried to cover that up because they can't bury the truth, but they can surround it. So
Yeah.
religions distorted it, but the core truth in symbolism that's held within the Hebrew Torah and the Vedic scriptures, once you understand how to read them, there's some stuff about this whole thing, how it's playing out, right? So we can go through all of that too as things
Yeah,
unfold.
we will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Gareth. Have a great day at work.
That's it. Oh, and
All
the
right.
moon was the first planet destroyed in this battle. It was deliberately towed into place while his solar system was re-engineered to be able to support the grand experiment of the human race and the seeding of this planet. That's why it's exactly positioned so it's exactly the same size as the sun. Everything about it is puzzling. The only explanation, it was artificially placed, and that's exactly what it was. And there's a whole lot of symbolism about that. It connects to when Tom God said about people going through the earthquake process, you may ask for a protective beam of white light from Altea. Well, that name is connected to that original planet.
Oh, the moon. Okay. Of course. 1050. Of course. All
So there's
right.
more to come with that.
So much more to come. So much more to come. Okay. Thank you.
All
Love
right.
everybody. Thank you.
You do it. Everyone, you're on the money, and it's going to pay off big time. It's paying off big time.
It is.